The John McCain campaign produced a big package of opposition research on Mitt Romney. John McCain won the Republican nomination fight against Mr. Romney, thereby winning the right to lose in the general election to Barack Obama. Right? But earlier this year, when Mitt Romney was running for the Republican nomination for the second time, so he could earn the right to run against Barack Obama, earlier this year, the McCain campaign's whole opposition research treasure trove against Mitt Romney from the last election found its way onto the internet. Andrew Kaczynski at BuzzFeed.com found the Oppo research against Romney that the McCain campaign put together, and he published it from beginning to end. It was essentially a how-to guide for running against Mitt Romney. All of his observed weaknesses, his inconsistencies, his politically disadvantageous statements on the record. For people really interested in politics and the political prospects of Mitt Romney, it was a bit of a gold mine, right? There were huge sections on Mitt Romney at Bain Capital, buying up companies and then gutting them for his own personal profit. 10 pages documenting his varied and many stances on abortion rights. And there was this bit. Gun control. Gun control in the top hits section. Remember, this is relatively straightforward opposition research from one of Mitt Romney's fellow Republicans. This is research that the John McCain campaign put together to use against Mitt Romney when they were competing in the Republican primary. So it says things like this. In 1994, when Mitt Romney first ran for Senate, he backed the Brady Bill and the assault weapons ban. As governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney upped the cost of gun licenses fourfold. And he promised on the campaign trail to not chip away at gun laws.
We do have tough gun laws in Massachusetts. I support them. I won't chip away at them.
And he did not. In 2004, Governor Romney, in fact, signed the permanent assault weapons ban in Massachusetts. Then Mitt Romney decided to run for president. He started prepping himself for the Republican presidential primary. And then, of course, things got hilarious on the subject of guns. Mr. Romney said in a virtual debate with the Boston Globe, quote, "I have a gun of my own. I go hunting myself." To which someone in the room replied, and I quote, "Excuse me, but isn't that your son Josh's gun?" Yes, it was. Out on the campaign trail, Mr. Romney touted his Second Amendment bona fides by saying that he was a lifetime member of the NRA. He would brag about that, and that was sort of true. He joined the NRA as a lifetime member in August 2006, just before announcing his presidential run. You see, lifetime isn't the same thing as lifelong when it comes to membership in the NRA. You too could become a lifetime member of the NRA right now, simply by giving them $1,000. When asked about his very recent membership that he was calling a lifetime membership, Mr. Romney explained, quote, "I'm after the NRA's endorsement. In other words, I'm running for office for Pete's sake." Mitt Romney wasn't just after the NRA's endorsement in the 2008 Republican presidential primary. He was also after the NRA's endorsement retroactively for a previous political campaign. Watch.
I also was pleased to have the support of the NRA when I ran for governor. I sought it. I seek it now. I'd love to have their support.
Yeah, Mr. Romney's campaign spokesman later had to clarify, actually, quote, "The NRA did not endorse in the 2002 campaign." So in the 2008 Republican primary, Mitt Romney owned a gun, only he didn't. It was his son's. Mitt Romney proclaimed himself a lifetime member of the NRA for a matter of months. Mr. Romney said he was once endorsed for governor by the NRA, only he wasn't. And then there was a little issue about whether or not he was a hunter, and if so, what kind.
I'm not a big game hunter. I've made it very clear. I've always been, if you will, a rodent and rabbit hunter. All right, small varmints, if you will. And I began when I was 15 or so, and have hunted those kinds of varmints since then, more than 2 times. I also hunted quail in Georgia. So it's not really big game hunting, if you will, or it's not deer and large animals, but I've hunted a number of times. Various types of small rodents.
Let me just save you the trouble of looking it up. The last time somebody used the word varmint on the screen on which you are watching me right now is the last time you watched Caddyshack. It was Carl in Caddyshack, and his primary characteristic in that movie was that he was not qualified for his job. And yet, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, which is supposed to be so principled on gun rights, principled to the exclusion of all other political considerations, the NRA last week endorsed Mitt Romney for president. Why did they wait so long? I don't know, but they did. But they endorsed Mitt Romney despite Mitt Romney's actual record on guns and his previous statements on gun policy. They are still delighted to endorse him and, more importantly, to run this new ad in 4 swing states, criticizing President Obama for being just terrible on gun rights. What has President Obama done that's so terrible? What anti-gun laws has President Obama passed? Precisely none. 0. President Obama's actual record on guns as president is that you can now carry guns on Amtrak trains and in national parks. And that's the guy who did not get the endorsement of the NRA. This guy did.
I don't line up 100% with the NRA. I don't see eye to eye with the NRA in every issue.
The NRA is not looking to honestly compare the 2 candidates' records on their one and only issue of gun rights, right? The NRA just wants the Republican. That is what they want. That is why they exist. They are a Republican interest group, and to describe them any other way is to play into their spin. Their idea about how to advance their own interests is to get Republicans elected to office. And whatever you think about them in terms of its effectiveness on Republican politics, frankly, that stinks for people who really do care about gun policy, because they have the worst supposed advocates ever.